My name is Gogo Nomi, and we are finally back. I don't know after how long. Please don't judge me, guys. It's just been quite a long period of, I guess, softness, not hardship, softness. Today I've got a really cool guest, and I'm not gonna introduce her. I'm gonna let her introduce herself. But I'm so excited, and thank you for just allowing us into your space, into your home. I'm so excited to have this chat.
Hi guys, I'm Thobeka Mthembu, previous Mthembu, but I'm not going to say the new surname. I haven't been in the house.
Oh wow.
So still Mthembu, sort of.
We're having this conversation in the car.
Yeah,
actually.
So
Thobeka, not about you, about me.
Oh, is it? I'm a travel and lifestyle content creator. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, and I guess I just love telling stories with social media, and that's who I am.
So I guess, guys, the reason we have Thobeka on today is exactly that, right? Because me, as Gogo Nomi, I feel like I don't like to accept things for what they are, right? And I think this is why I get led to the people that I'm led to. So I don't choose the people that come on, and I also get guided by my guides as to how to have certain conversations and with who and why. So this particular conversation for me is around travel, the importance of travel for African people as a whole, and just getting a context of why would Thobeka decide, out of all things, you're gonna go and decide when you wanna do travel content in particular. So maybe I'll start with just an easy question.
Okay.
What made you even get into content creation?
Yeah, I feel like it was a long journey. So I was led also to where I am. I don't think anything is done by on purpose. Yeah. I think everything has a purpose actually. So I started off, I studied strategic comms. I've always liked working. I actually started working at age 16.
I'm the same.
Yeah, so at 16, I started working at the mall, and then I started doing promotions for perfumes. So I was always just that girl who wants to be busy on the weekends, and I think my parents liked that because we weren't too much partying.
And you weren't told to do it; it was just something you prompted yourself.
Yes. Wow. Also because my parents didn't give us pocket money, and I never made it a thing of I just need money. It was just like, what can I do?
Yes, to also facilitate the things that you want to do.
Exactly. And so I took it upon myself, and I started working at 16. So I've worked 4 years and I never stopped. I've never stopped since then. I studied strategic comms, and when I was in second year, there was a poster at UJ, because I studied at UJ, at the comms department that said, we're looking for third years to come and do an internship, and I was like, oh no, I want to do this. I was not a third year student, by the way.
That's nice.
So I emailed the PR agency, because I was studying basically PR, strat comms, and they said, okay, come for an interview. It was on the last day of the thing. So I went, I got that job, started interning at a really big PR firm. It is actually still alive now, in Bryanston, and it was a stipend, and after that, I started wanting to blog. It was like the blogger, industry started coming out, and a friend of mine at the time, who Ayanda Mantomazano, had a
I know her.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she had ice cream mag.
Oh wow.
And I saw it and it was blooming, and I said, I would write for ice cream mag. They were doing cool events, all of this. So I sent her a message, probably on Facebook at the time, and I said, hey, I would love to be a writer.
So wait, you started as a writer?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Writer. I was on the board. I was at events with her, and then I started doing that, and I think that led my creativity, and I wanted to talk to people actually. So I just said, let me do it, and we would go to events in Kulume, do interviews, and then after that, I was introduced to a friend of hers who worked at YFM.
Oh nice.
And then I was like, I want to be on radio.
So you wanted to do everything?
I wanted everything that had to do with being on a platform.
That is amazing.
To lend my voice to.
That's nice.
Yes. So I think that's what it was.
And then you got to travel how? Okay.
So we've always been traveling as a family.
That's nice.
I think what happens in South Africa, when people hear travel, they are thinking plane.
Yes, or overseas.
Overseas.
And expensive.
Exactly. and I never grew up like that. My dad, when he met my mother, they actually met in Mpumalanga.
Wow.
Both of them not being from Mpumalanga, both of them having no real, it wasn't home for them. So my mom came from Pietermaritzburg, went to get her first job in Mpumalanga as a teacher.
Oh, wow.
My dad lived in Nkandla, which is northern KZN, opposite side sort of.
Yeah.
Left there, went to Mpumalanga, and they met in a new province and fell in love. And they call it a bit of their home because that's where they fell in love, and that's where I think also my brother was born around that time. But yeah, that's where they met. So they met traveling. It's
and
always
now,
been a thing.
now you just became a content creator that does all this travel stuff. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I think now that you're mentioning your parents and how they've influenced that interest in you, do you think that that's something that you will pass down to your kids? Or where do you think this comes from for you in particular? And when I say this, I want to tap into the nature of humans, right?
Yes.
Where we think that we are the ones that guide ourselves down certain paths. But do you believe that maybe there's something else that guided you down this path? And do you think it's something that would guide your kids down a certain path?
I don't just believe I know it.
Yeah.
So I know, I've always known that the things I'm doing are what I have to do at that present time.
Yeah.
And so I've always known that this is what I was going to be doing.
Really?
Yes.
Well, how did you know? That's what
How did I know? It's by storytelling. My dad once told us a story, funny enough. When we started doing this, my dad didn't understand what we were doing, me and my sister, right? Oh, you know, how do you guys make this a thing and living, you know? And then he told us a story that my grandfather had always wanted to do like a room, like, how do you call it, like a lodge, guest house. And my grandfather built the home in Kandla for his wife, for his family, with his own hands. And so that was the beginning of him saying, I want to build this for my family. But I have a dream, I have a vision for my family, and I want us to own something. That is my biggest goal. Wow. That's the end goal.
So your end goal is to actually have your own establishments that people can go travel to. Wow, that's big.
That is the end goal.
That is
is a nice, you know, lodge vibe, because it was in my grandfather's vision, and then that is what instilled in my father to allow his family to travel and see the world.
And now you're doing a bit of that with your daughter too. That is so deep. Yeah. I actually would never have thought about it that way.
Absolutely.
So, as you travel, what has been the one thing though that you look at and you sort of treasure about home? Because I think I've traveled, right? And every time I go, I almost get let down, you know? Because I always feel like, how? This is all it is. I thought that there would be more, you know? We've got better infrastructure than a lot of places. We've got clean running water from things like the tap. You know, there's a lot of things that, yes, in terms of safety, we might have issues. But there's a lot of things that we don't have to guard, that a lot of people in other countries have to guard. And I think I've almost been very let down when I travel, because I'm also like, how guys, but why do you guys make it seem like where we live is not great?
Exactly.
So I just want to know for you, what have been some of the letdowns?
Most of my letdowns are the people.
Really?
The people. I think in South Africa, we're so lucky.
Yeah.
Like, you know that Ubuntu, not Ubuntu, actually I hate that, Ubuntu, but being Umuntu, being a person, being able to walk and say Sanbona, Sawbona, hi, how are you, how was your day, how was your morning? In other countries, people are not looking at that. They're here, they're focused on themselves.
That is so scary.
It's so scary. They're focused on themselves and their own goals and their own everything. My sister and I went to Amsterdam. It was like a 2-day thing. No one wanted to help us. We asked for directions. We're like, oh, because we like walking cities, right? So we want to walk. Okay, we're staying here. We're going to walk now. We just want to walk and explore. The one person who helped us was a black guy in Amsterdam. Yeah.
That is sad,
and then we spent the whole day with him. So it's the people. It's the people that make the trips the best.
Yeah.
And then it's the people that let it down from you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Because it's the same. I mean, I was in Egypt, and it was also like the men in Egypt are so.
Yeah.
They're hard. They're very like, you know,
not
soft at all. which is why maybe we didn't see a lot of women walking around. I didn't see a lot of women being out, and that made me sad because I felt like, okay, so as women, you can't really experience this country, you know, and being a tourist in certain countries, it's not nice.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, especially if you're a woman.
I get it a lot, and I think it's actually sad because I think we don't see how much we have and how we're allowed to just do so much.
Yeah.
You know, I think funny enough, I remember a few years ago, I had gone to see one of these Mkhulus that have mentored me, right? When I got there, there was a daughter to like a very famous healer, you know, and I'm wearing whatever, and she's like, you know how much Ubaba fought for you guys to be able to walk around in the regalia you walk around in now, and just be able to do things that you guys do now. And it's like you guys sometimes don't see like how much you have, you know. And I'm just thinking it's the same kind of feeling when you're also female and in something and you realize just how much, you know, people just don't get it.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think the one reason that I wanted to come and sit with you is because I've just seen you do a lot of travel content, right? And it's always set in my mind how as Black people or African people, we would never see this as a gift. You know, we would rather see it as, oh, Thobeka, she's having fun, she's enjoying her life and whatever. But I want to understand, from a spiritual perspective, especially as someone who presents yourself online, like how much spirituality is packed in this for you?
Quite a bit. Even the places I go to. So when I initially started, I said I want to focus on the African continent on purpose. One thing I wasn't seeing was representation. Right? So you were able to go on Google and Google this amazing place in Botswana or Namibia, but all the marketing was white people.
Yes.
Number
I've
one.
seen that.
Biggest issue for me. Then I started saying our story is also not being told.
Exactly.
So yes, you can go to these places, but where are the experiences that tell our stories? You know, that was also one of my biggest things. Then I even said, you know, in South Africa, I want to go where they say we mustn't go.
Yes.
As
like
on
where?
purpose. Yeah.
Like
Girl, please. I see lamp, I'm just joking. But I guess sort of like, the Cape even. So in the Cape, there are certain places that have maybe history for the Khoisan and whatever. And then there's also places that are predominantly Afrikaans.
Yes.
That, you know, you're gonna, if you go there as a Black person, maybe you're gonna be ostracized or whatever.
I know.
I wanted to go there because I was like, I want to see what are they saying.
I love what you're saying because I guess my son is a lot like you, right? So he travels a lot to Cape Town, but he's always the only Black guy. And I'm always asking him, where's Anjan? And my son is not old, guys. My son is like 12 or 13. But I think there's a psyche in him that I respect because he doesn't mind standing out. He doesn't mind being the only one in like a group of people and just doing something that he believes that he should be doing. I see him do things like surfing, you know, when he goes to Cape Town, and I'm like, oh, and he just is not afraid. And I think for me, that's such a huge characteristic that we all need. But I don't know if abantu, when they view what we are doing, they even understand it to that level. What Thobeka is doing is breaking generational curses, number one. It's also breaking boundaries and putting her in a place where maybe wherever, if there's a place where our ancestors see us from, you know, then they look at us and they're like, oh, at least she did that thing that I was so scared to do, you know. And obviously I will say it from an ancestral perspective because that's a lot of what I believe in. But I mean, guys, I also believe in God, and because I do, I also believe we get placed in these lifetimes or these spaces to break boundaries of things of the past, but by God himself. So I feel like God is a very intentional person when he allows us into certain paths or lives, you know. And I guess why I'm now saying this part is because your dad is a pastor, right? So people would ask themselves, Gogo Nomi and whatever. the point for me is also to understand that aspect.
Yeah.
It's okay, there's Thobeka that we all know as like a content creator, but also spiritually led by someone who we all would want to be scared to talk to really, and would seek higher advice from, and from a spiritual perspective, and even the way you do your work. How has that like made Thobeka who Thobeka is?
Yeah, so I come from a lineage of priests.
Really?
My ancestors are priests.
That is scary.
For the last 4, 5 generations.
Really?
Priests. So they pray. We pray. But we also believe in spirit.
Really?
Because as I said, they are my ancestors, they lead us. So Mkulu, my dad's dad, was a priest, passed away as a priest. Had lots of issues, but passed away as a priest. Babwake was a priest. Babwake was the first black bishop, in KZN, in Zululand, in Kutu.
That's nice.
So we are a lineage of priests. And then before that, we believed in
African spirituality.
Yes, and also in Nkulunkulu.
Yeah.
Which I think is higher ground,
all
consuming,
encompassing,
right?
Yes.
So we've always believed, but then came obviously the people with religion, and then that changed the trajectory of my ancestors
things are done
and how they're done.
Yeah.
But Ekaya, we've always done a bit of both. Not even a bit, more same, da. My dad, even now that he's a priest, there are things he possibly can't really do spiritually, but that's where my brother comes in.
Yeah, that's nice.
And he steps in and he does the things, and my dad is not against him.
Yeah.
He just
He
decides
doesn't,
that I want, you guys can do this, I'll do this, you do this. And I think it works really well.
Yeah,
it's a good blend. And I think also the spirituality and the religion, for me, live together. So for example, candles are in the Bible. For example, amanzi are very important in the Bible.
Yes.
Water is very important for me spiritually. So water, salt, you are the salt of the world. Salt is in the Bible. Salt is important spiritually. So there are all these elements that I think people don't understand.
Yeah.
That are actually, if you even were to speak to a priest and ask about what do these colors mean, it's the same in the Bible.
Yes, it's the same.
It's the same. What the salt? Why do we use this? Why do we do this with salt? Why do we whatever with salt? It's the exact same. In the church that I am from, the Anglican Church, we use impep. So there are specific times that we use it.
Yes,
that it is used in the church.
Yeah.
So those are things people don't understand. And I grew up knowing these things. And so it's very hard for me when people are like, how can you be a Christian and believe in spirituality?
Yeah.
For me, it lives together.
It's a tough one.
It's very tough.
Yeah, I think people create a distinction and you're the one sitting there like,
Because I've lived it, right?
Yeah.
And I've lived it for 35 years. So I grew up, and it's sad. Like I grew up watching, when we come home, go December, you tell them that we are home now. You go to Msamu, you say we are home. Thank you for giving us the good, ride home. Uklaba, something that we also were doing, growing up. And so people don't understand that thing of working together. And I think also the rise of, what do they call it, like the wellness industry.
Yes.
I also have thoughts about it.
Yeah.
I think wellness and all of that is inherently black.
It is.
It's inherently. I always tell my sister, I'm like, mom is a chakrahan. My mom is a chakrahan, guys. When the moon is out, my mom goes outside, no shoes.
Yeah.
She walks on the floor. My mom puts water in a jug and she prays for her water. My mom prays at 12, at 3, at 9.
I get it.
You know what I mean? So it's like things like that people don't understand, that is spirituality, that is wellness in a sense.
For me, I think what's hard is that when someone isn't living it, that's when they've got all of these questions and all of these probes and all of these things. But when you're living it, I mean, we come home. I remember when I came home, I thought, my life is going to be so different, And then I came home and I'm like, no, wait, my life is not different. I can go to church, Of course, I can choose now which I want to go to, like an African spiritual church or whatever. But that's me.
Exactly.
That's not Roma, and we've been in Roma, like all our lives. Even now, my daughter was baptized there.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people would probably be like, huh?
Exactly.
How? You know, I'm like, but that's all I know,
Yeah.
you know. And so some of the stages will take our kids through them as well. But I guess for me, it's always just been, I live this thing, so for me, it's actually simpler than what you think it is. But okay, you know, I think Mina I'm even at the point now where I don't like explaining it, but I do like asking you guys this question, because I think the more people see other people say, no, this is normal, then people will actually see, maybe the things they're questioning are not what they should be questioning.
And sometimes I think they make it to be black and white.
And it's
not. It's not black and white. And I think also as people, as Abantu, as black people, as people from this earth, we need to also be very, what is it called? Not rigid. We can't be rigid, yes. You can't say, this is the way, the truth, and whatever. No. Because can I tell you one thing about God and our ancestors? They will open your eyes.
They will.
Okay, so if you think that this is the way, the truth, the life, and then you're living life like this.
No, it's not.
I cannot promise, I mean, I can attest to this. I don't want to speak about it, but I can attest that if you think that's your life and you are like this, there's going to be one situation that will happen in your life that will open your eyes, that you will be forced to see and look at. Meaning to look at self. You'll be forced to look inward. And you'll be forced, it's very scary. And it's scary because it happens mostly to people who are blinded.
Yes. And it also happens when it needs to happen, by the way, not just at any point in time. I guess for me, now that we're talking about all these things, I'm thinking about just growing up and also like kindness, you know. How important is kindness in the work that you do? And also like how kind or unkind have we as the public been towards you? Because I feel like you guys are content creators, we think your life is great, you're always attending events, but we also criticize you guys so much. We also have so many opinions about like, you know, your husband unjena, all of that. Like, how do you deal with either the kindness or unkindness of people online?
It's hard. I mean, when I began, it wasn't how it is social media right now. It started as Facebook, guys. I'm 35, so I'm not a new age content creator. So you know, with us, it was more just being yourself, authenticity, and that was amazing. But then the more followers you get, you start looking around like, ooh, should I say this? Should I share this? You know, and then you're scared because you're worried about what the audience is going to say about you. But one thing about me though, I'm not going to back down. Like I've always had that in me, like I have a bit of a fighting spirit. You know, there's been times that I've possibly, I think even on what is it, X? What is X? TikTok? No, not TikTok. What's X? Twitter. You know, we know it as Twitter. I still call it out, but you know, I always see it as an X. So on Twitter, I think I've twice I have. What is it called when you trend? Yes, I've trended twice. Really? Yeah, and for things that like, it's all about me, but I'm in it, you know? So stuff like that, and then you wake up and you're like, yo, why am I trending? Okay, you know? But the biggest thing for me with kindness, I treat my followers not as, I'm not God, you know, firstly. I have definitely answered every DM. Nice. If there's maybe that I haven't, clump out 5, 10. But I answer every DM. I talk to people because they are people. I don't put myself on a higher ground. And that's a big thing. So, you know, humility, leading with kindness. And I think the way you treat your community online or in any space.
And we can feel that, hey, like people don't know, but I think energy transcends, right? So you can actually tell if Lomuntulo is really a nice person or if they're doing it for a camera or when they're alive.
Exactly. And people know. You cannot fake who you are. You can take the best photos, you can, you know, but you can't fake Ubuntu Bako and who you are, you know. So I try not to do that. I actually don't do it. And I think sometimes it can hinder me because then I feel like I'm not growing online because I'm not doing what all other content creators are doing. And that's been something I've been thinking about a lot. Like, damn, I've been doing this for so long, but I don't have the 100,000 followers. You know, but I've also realized it's a long game and I'm not gonna do what everyone does, right? So today this is trending.
Yeah, I get
I'm
you.
not necessarily going to do that for followers.
And I guess that's probably why we're here.
Exactly. So it's tough. You
Like
know?
for me, I think this is sort of what all of the things that you've spoken about are, funny enough, some of the battles I have, you know, but at the same time, it's also the stuff that I believe in, you know. I feel like if you're ever going to do something and you're not doing it like for real, then you shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be showcasing it to the world. But also, I just feel like people look at you guys sometimes and it's just like, there's a lot that people expect because of the exchanges that they have online, you know, and I think you would rather, again, and not grow, you know. I also think I've seen something, guys, where I think it was a video where this guy now worked for Oprah, for example, you know, and this guy, I think his YouTube channel had like 4 or 5 people following it, but what he didn't know was that one of them was Oprah. You know, and so there was an opportunity at her offices, and I think at some point, you know, Oprah was looking for someone to come do this thing, and this lady who Oprah was asking for a recommendation was like, oh no, there's this person on YouTube, check them out, I think they're actually quite good, they don't have a large following, don't focus on that. And she was like, oh my gosh, I actually follow this person, I love their work, and that is how that person got their big break without actually having like a huge following. They just needed the right kind of audience to be looking at the work that they're doing, and that's how the opportunities came to them. Actually, it had nothing to do with the numbers.
Exactly.
And I think when I saw that, I thought, sure, this is so interesting because of being in the limelight or whatever, you always feel like you need more numbers. You always feel like you need more, but what if you actually just need that right selective audience, because those people who are watching you will sit in boardrooms, present your work, you know, actually show all of that stuff. And I mean, Nami, I guess because I also work in corporate, I don't follow people and don't give people opportunities that I don't feel are good people, because I feel like in everything you do, it's actually a holistic thing. You need to be intentional, even in your offices, about how you do the exchanges, because that's what amplifies who do and their work, you know. But I think, I don't know, is there anything just travel related that you would want to share with someone out there who's looking at Thobeka and just like, oh, I'm so scared, or procrastinating, even just about starting?
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest thing for me, and what my huge focus is changing the face of travel. I've said this for the last, I don't know, 8 years that I've started. It's changing the face of travel. We have been so bombarded with, you know, people of different skin tones, but not including us, you know, and feeling excluded. And I think that is one of the things that people don't want to travel for. A lot of my audience will DM me and will say, thank you, Thobeka, for sharing this. You know, I now feel like I can go there. I now feel comfortable. And not just that, thank you for showing us that as Black people, we can do this.
Because I think the costing part for me is what I always look out for when you put your videos out. I'm always like, okay, I think I can afford this.
And also people keep that.
And I can set a goal now. It's okay, next trip is going here, and here. But I think the other thing is, Mina, I believe, guys, in ancestors who do things that are unattainable. You know? So for me, why I'm asking you this question also is, Uguti, when we live here, we don't know it sometimes, but just that energy of vibration that says to people, Uguti, wake up, guys, there's so much more out there
to see and do, right?
You know, and so for me, this conversation is also about that, to say to people, Uguti, we live in an economy that is changing, jobs have changed, you know, that's how content creators can just wake up and decide, Uguti, I want to change my life and I want to be a content creator. And I also want to know, do you think because you guys make it look so easy, people tend to think what you put in is not like that big?
Yes, definitely. But I think also on our part, we need to be able to also share not just the glorified moments, I think, right? So share the lows, right? Share the BTS, What does it take for me to shoot this?
Yeah.
What does it take for me to work with a specific brand?
Yeah.
What does it take for me? So come with me on the journey. And not just showing people the end goal of, all right, I'm here, I'm in Maldives, oh my gosh, it's so pretty.
Yeah.
What did it take you to get there,
Yes.
Thobeka? And how did you get to work with that brand? And I think we're now moving back to that social media where we began, where it was very, not as aesthetic,
Yes.
very storytelling. This is who I am, I've been doing this, and now we're telling stories again. And I love that because it doesn't give people pressure. And also with travel, it can feel like, yo, Toby's unfamiliar pressure, right? Like she's been to these 3 places, 4 places, 5 places.
So
I haven't been to even one.
I do.
You know, and I think it's also okay for us to say, guys, this is my work.
Yeah.
But I am showcasing these places to you to let it be known that it is possible for you to do it.
Yes.
And I always say to people, guys, start in your country.
Yes.
Start at home. That's where I started. I started at home.
Top 5 places.
At home.
Yeah.
Mpumalanga. You have to do Mpumalanga. You can do a trip to Cape Town, guys, for less than 10,000 rand. You can even drive
We
to
can
Cape
do
Town.
it, but maybe not.
I'm telling you, you can. I promise you I can. I'm going to put together a video. I love doing these videos. I did one video where I said, spend the weekend with me, wherever. I did a video for Zambia. And I said, you guys can go to Zambia for, remember, it was like, I think it was for less than 20,000.
Yeah.
Possible, promise you. Anyway, so Mpumalanga, Cape Town, KZN. I think KZN is beautiful. People don't see enough of KZN. Number 4, Kruger. Number 5, Limpopo.
Okay. And for waterfall chasers?
Mpumalanga.
Okay.
Limpopo has a few.
I'm asking that
Yeah,
for myself.
definitely. Mpumalanga and Limpopo has quite a few amazing waterfalls.
Very nice.
Very amazing.
Okay, so last thing, because I tried to ask this earlier, but we didn't get to it.
Yeah.
We now have a daughter, right?
Yes.
And you are now having to shape her world. What are some of the things that have had to change, number one, for you as a content creator? Just in terms of even how you guys travel or how you do things, but also what would you like her to take with her in her chapters?
Number one, my daughter was born very early, so already that changed my whole career. No work was coming in, so from the time she was born.
That's scary.
Very scary. Loss of income for at least 6 months.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
The
So
cleanliness
yeah,
usually
it's
around
just
that.
exactly. So you also, and not just that, like you kind of mustn't have too many people around. It's a very different space. It's a very sacred space, and so that was hard for me. I had to grapple with the effects of that, and I still am trying to grapple with them. I'm still trying to figure it out, and I think that's okay. I don't know what the next step is, but I know that I'll be fine, and I know that I'm still traveling, right? And I'm still, I now call myself a bit of a travel pioneer. I don't see myself as just a travel content creator now. I have worked with brands across the board. I've, put my name out there, and now I get to pioneer and do other things. My daughter has allowed me to slow down. So obviously less travels, but more impactful travels. And I think that's what I want to focus on. So slower travel, trips that are a bit longer, because if I'm taking my daughter with, I don't want us to be, oh, we only have 2 minutes or then you're doing this. No, I think we need to slow down.
And also,
take it in.
Is focusing on play.
Yes,
for her.
yes.
Introducing those aspects of travel, because I think
beach,
that's always
Hamas,
the fears that we have as parents. It's okay, I'm taking her, but what is she gonna do?
Exactly.
Or what is he gonna do on that trip?
Yeah, so that's important, and I'm already planning her first trip to the beach because I think she can sit now, so it's a variety. And I think I want to see her interact with the water. When I was young, my first vivid memories of travel are when I was in Cape Town. I was definitely 4 or 5. I was 5 years old. I was in Cape Town. I remember the beach. I remember the smell. I remember the weather. I remember touching a starfish at the aquarium. And so I know that children remember these things. And it shapes them. Because I remember those things. It's crazy.
I think I was stung by a jellyfish.
And you still
That
remember.
is my most vivid memory. But also that was my first sign that I'm a spiritual child.
We see.
So that is something, because everyone came out of the water happy, and I came out screaming. And I was like, it just happened to me,
Yeah.
and I was just, yeah.
You
it's
see,
a
so those are the
different-
memories, right? And those are the travel memories that
Indeed.
you actually have to remember that, yes, we love travel for ourselves, so we travel, but traveling with children and with your family
Yeah.
gives you a different perspective.
Like,
of
I
time.
think for me, now that you're saying that,
Yeah.
we did that every year with my
Yeah,
great-grandmother,
yeah.
right? And a lot of people, I think, don't realize it, but most people can't say they've gone anywhere
Yeah.
with their great-grandparents,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? But now that you're saying it, it's like there were consistent things that my great-grandmother used to do for us that I think have actually really shaped us as humans.
Yeah.
But also she gave us like these experiences, man. I think I was explaining to someone else, even, baking.
Yes,
For us
that
was
smell.
a thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even
of,
us.
Like, just when we come home, we know it's my great grand, when's this, when's that, but there's a smell that we just always have in mind when we think of her.
Yeah.
And now that we're older, like I say to my mother-in-law, your food tastes like my great grandmother's food.
Yeah.
So whenever I go
Yeah.
there, it actually feels more of home, but great grandmother's home,
Sure.
not just Kanililana,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know if when I say it, she gets just how
The
big of a
magnitude,
thing that is
yes.
for me.
Yeah, because those senses are important. Smell,
Yeah,
touch,
and
feel.
that's also how I knew that I married into the same home. I know
Yeah.
it's a bit of a old friend, but the first day I got there,
Yeah.
she called me Mfundwana.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, only my great grandmother would call me this.
Sure.
How did you come from my name and you just land directly
Sure.
there? So I was like, oh, my grand called me that. It's fine, you can call me that. And I'm just like, I wonder if she knew that.
If she
was the
knows,
stamp.
yeah.
I was like, "Ayla, I'm at the right place.
Oh, that's amazing.
I know.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
different,
amazing.
different world.
So yeah, I think traveling with family is important, guys.
It is.
And creating those memories. It's not just the memories that are the images for Instagram. It's not just the videos for Instagram.
Yeah.
But it's also the memories that live on in your mind.
And your heart.
In your heart, and that you pass on, right? So
Yeah.
I'm excited to create those memories for Milani and seeing her glow and seeing her grow and seeing her touch and feel. I think that's the beauty of travel. That is what it is.
It is. Really.
That is literally what it is.
Okay, I'm not gonna stretch it out. I feel like I've asked Toby so many questions, but I think I just wanna ask our closing remarks from your end, and just to say thank you again, just for having us here, and that I hope and I pray that whoever is listening today to this particular podcast or even watching, the message landed directly with who it needed to land with.
Yes.
Closing remarks.
My closing remarks are mostly, what are your thoughts also, right? You also have a little daughter, almost the same age, funny enough. Literally, same age, yeah. So with you, what are your, guiding pass-ons that you want to give your daughter, including travel?
So I think for me, right, when it comes to my daughter, it's a bit different because now it's also a different aspect of motherhood where before I had a son, but I didn't have a partner, so it's also being able now to learn how to balance having someone who's consistently there. And I don't think my son's dad isn't there. He is, but in a different way, so giving space to both of us to be able to enjoy her, and being able to respect someone else when they make decisions about my daughter, but in the same breath, I want my daughter to be happy, right? So making sure when we do travel, like that's how I was asking these questions, we do go to spaces where she can play and she can enjoy herself and she can be herself, but in the same breath as a spiritual person, for her to understand when I'm picking a place, I'm picking a place because we're going to connect Nabugogo and so we will be chasing waterfalls. There will be times where I expect her to take walks to the river with me. There will be times where we find ourselves on mountains and forests, and for her not to judge me, it's just me trying to expose her to a world that I think luckily my son is already being exposed to, and I think he handles it well, but for her to understand, this is all I know, so what I'm showing you is all I know of what life and spirituality should be. Take it, you can change it up if you want to add things, subtract things, but never take what I'm giving you and think I didn't give you what was a lot for me, you know. And I think I do that with my son as well. Like I have like concise conversations when I drive my son to school, because I feel like that's the only time where it's just really me and him together. So I will explain certain viewpoints. I'll do all these things, even about travel, why we'll go to certain places, why we won't. Talk about politics. Like I think my son probably in that 15 to 20 minute drive, sometimes he's like, you know, but it's me wanting my kids to understand whatever I had was what I had and what I knew. What you do with it is up to you, but you know, I've shared it with you, and I also want you though to respect it. Like I think the sweetest thing my son does for me is that whenever at school they teach them about traditional healers, he's the first person to correct people about, no, this is not what it is, you know.
It's not the scary things, guys.
Yeah, and I think for a little child, it's a big task, you know. But the fact that he now gets that, I would want my daughter to do that as well, and just say, you know, guys, but you don't know this thing. This is not what you guys are saying it is. And for me, that's already a sign that I've done something right. I want my kids to know we are open-minded, Lana. We don't judge people, you know, whatever we do, it's all we know. And the next thing is to learn. It's not to judge.
It's amazing. And you just remind me of something. While you were talking, a thought came up. The choosing of the places we go to. And in my head, something said spirit-led travel, right? And because there are places I've traveled to that I was like, la, I should not be here. I don't know if you get me, right? I've gotten to a place and I'm like, it's not for me. I should not be here. And then you get to places where you feel like I should be returning. I must return. There are places you travel to, and as a travel creator, I always share with people that yes, as much as we're doing activities, even the activities we do need to be led. Waking up, journaling, very important. You know, walking without shoes, touching the ground, praying in the morning, saying thank you, seeing the sun come up in another place. There's nothing as beautiful as that, right? It's God. So those are the things that I think that is what makes me choose also the places I go to. And I think I know when I'm not supposed to also be in a place.
I do too. So for spiritual travel, we sometimes do caves and stuff. Oh, guys, when I was 6 months pregnant, we went to the caves in Clarence. I got there, did what I need to do, and then I said, with all due respect, I will never come back here. You know? And I think everyone that was with me was like, huh? I was like, no, I'm just not doing this again, you know? And I wasn't being disrespectful. I was like, I've done the task, you know, I've ticked it off my list, and I will never return, you know? And I think for me, the difference is that with every single travel, after a while, I do see the why I needed to do that trip. I think that particular one, I was like, 6 months pregnant. Such a long walk, you know? And I had to do that walk before my baby came, you know? But on that day, I was like, for the first time in my life, you know? And I think my sister always looks at me because sometimes she'll talk about it, like just the church and whatever. I'm before she finishes, I'm just like, I'm not going back. I'm like, it's a feeling that you have that you can't explain to other people. Or sometimes I needed to come here once, but I never need to come here again. And I think the universe and my guides need to respect that as well. You know?
And you won't go back.
No, I knew that. No, guys. But I think, thank you so much. For me, this was a very nice conversation, and I think I've learned a lot just sitting with you here. So I'm very hopeful that everyone who's watching has learned a lot too. So
thank you.